Hey, happy Monday, patients and family. Hope you guys are all doing great. Having a blessed Monday, hot July. I know we're being distracted still. It feels like Groundhog Day every day over and over again. It seems like the same stuff keeps happening. The same news is out there, the same mask debate, the same vaccine debate. All the stuff's the same out there. The one thing I want to do today, though, and this is what I've been talking a lot with my patients about recently, is that at the end of the day, you can let media manipulate stats all you want to. You can let the government manipulate stats all they want to. You can allow them to put whatever they want to inside your head. They can make you believe whatever the heck they want you to believe. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to, and this is what I've been talking to my patients about, is like at some point in time, we're all going to be exposed to this COVID in one way or another, whether it's whether we know it or whether we don't know it, whether our body responds to it, reacts to it, or doesn't, whether we get infected with it or don't, whether we get it and don't even know we have it and build up the antibodies to it. This is just how viruses and bacteria, it just absolutely works this way. And really the way that God built the immune system, it's exactly the same for this as it has been for thousands and thousands of years, whether it was Black Plague, whether it was SARS, whether it was swine flu, it doesn't matter. All these things, viruses and bacteria, have to go through the ups and downs through this whole thing. Everything has to go through, and you've heard me describe this, everything has to go down through that bell curve. Everything has to. And so the way that it's designed is that, number one, the one thing that we can work on is personal responsibility. And what do I mean by that? It's like, listen, personal responsibility is not about me wearing a mask to make sure that I don't give it to everybody else. Because if I'm asymptomatic, I'm not spreading germs anyway. And if I don't have it, I don't have it. And same thing, you don't know. What if you see somebody in public, they already have the antibodies for it? They're not spreading it either. So you got to start to understand is that personal responsibility is like, what can you do for you? How can you build your immune system and make it so stinking strong that when you are encountered with it, that your body can fight for it the best it possibly can? That's what I talk about when we talk about personal responsibility. And so the one thing that you don't see anybody doing, you see plenty of people saying, oh, well, there's not enough social distancing. People need to stay at home. We need to flatten the curve. Well, okay, you've done that now. We're on day 120 of flattening the curve, where we're supposed to be 15 days. Now what do we do? At some point in time, you can't fool God. You can't trick God. You just can't do that. You can't play God either. And that's a lot of what's trying to go on right now is we're trying to dictate what's going on and we're trying to play God. Don't get me wrong. I get we're trying to be smart. I understand that. And it's for the greater good. Keep saying those words. I understand these things. But actually what it comes down to, and this is what you need to do, is you need to look at personal responsibility. What can you do that will make sure that your immune system is as strong as it possibly can be when you are encountered with this? Because it's not if, it's when you're encountered with this. The fact that numbers of testing have gone up, guess what? More people are being tested, so I expect fully that more people are going to be tested for this thing. It just is, it's how it works. It's how it happens. The death rate, thank God, is completely going the opposite direction, which is down. So with more positive tests and more people being tested for it and less deaths, that's actually should be a good news thing that nobody's reporting. And so at the end of the day, what we can do is you can actually start to work on yourself. And so in Max Living, we have 5 essentials. Number 1 is mind, and being ownership of your mind. I tell my kids every single day is that you every day is a battle for your mind. Every single day is a battle for your mind. And so what that means is that who's going to own the space up here? You're going to let social media own the space? You're going to let media, you're going to let CNN, you're going to let Fox News own this space? Or you're going to let God own this space? You're going to read scripture in the morning. You're going to get yourself and look at your goals for your life. Are you going to look at affirmations? Are you going to look at things that control your thoughts instead of letting the rest of the world's thoughts control who you are and what you are? Do you have a belief in your thoughts that God created you healthy, that He created you strong, that the body's able to heal itself, the body's able to fight off coronavirus and sicknesses and diseases and cancer, because that's the way that it was built. And if you look at all the literature and you look at and studied the body as long as I have for 25 years, you start to realize things repeat itself over and over again. That every 2 years, they try to do this, scare the crap out of everybody with a new thing, whether it's swine flu, bird flu, SARS, you name it, blah, 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 blah. We can keep going through the whole thing. every couple years they try to go through that. I've never seen it scare people so bad and go through the media like it did this year, though. And here we are left, and I get it. Hey, look, are there still cases and they calling it novel virus and people are still blowing out of proportion? Absolutely. Are there some people that were injured? Absolutely. I know people that got it and had a little bit of sickness and got through it. I don't, fortunately, I guess, don't know anybody that died. And that doesn't lighten the mood of what I'm trying to talk to you guys about, because it's not about that. Listen, it sucks that people had to die from these things, but if it wasn't this, it was going to be flu, or it was going to be pneumonia, or it was going to be something else. You don't die from a virus, you die from comorbidities. You die because your body's weakened, and that's what happens, and that's how your body becomes weakened. And then you get a virus, and then it puts you over the top because your body's trying to fight too many things. That's the way it's designed. And see, the thing is that our bodies, number one, you have to have the right mind. Number two, you have to have a properly functioning nerve system. If you don't go to a chiropractor, if you don't get adjusted, or if you don't take care of your spine and your nerve system, that's a problem. We have more stress now than ever before, and that stress is embodied into the spine and the nerve system, and you can actually see it. You see where the stress is in a lot of my patients by how they hold their posture or what their x-rays say. And if there's pressure on the nerve system, then the brain can't communicate and the body can't heal, can't do what it's supposed to do. Number three is nutrition. The food that you put in your body is definitely directly proportional to if your body's healthy or if it's weak. Number four is exercise. Exercising brings oxygen to your body. It floods more oxygen to your body and it keeps it going. Sickness and disease and viruses and bacteria and cancers cannot survive in oxygenated tissues. Oxygen is good for your body. Lean muscle mass is good for your body. And then number five is detox. Don't put more chemicals in your body. You know, I know that people are spraying everything down in Lysols and everything like that. I wonder, and we'll never know this number, I wonder how many more cancers were formed during this time because people were abnormally putting tons of Purell over their hands and they were spraying Lysol all over everything, and they're spraying their kids down with Lysol. I saw one mom spraying her kid down as they came home from school with Lysol, with their backpacks on and spraying their whole body down. How harmful is this stuff? It's bad. So getting rid of the toxicities along the way as well. So here's my message to you guys, is it's all about personal responsibility. It's about taking control for what you can control. Again, there's going to be a lot of people fighting out there. It sucks. I hate it. I told a patient this morning, I almost got teary-eyed because I'm such a hugger and I can't hug anybody these days. Because you don't know, number one, who will allow you to be hugged. You don't know what kind of dirty looks you're going to get. My 16-year-old daughter was just in Harris Teeter and she got yelled at by an older guy about where's your mask? And he doesn't know her history. He doesn't know why she might not be wearing a mask. He doesn't understand it, but yet he's mask shaming her. So we have all this fighting and it's nothing's coming to a head because we're just polarized, and it's seemingly it's a lot along party lines, unfortunately. Okay. And I know some of it's blurry, but it's pretty much along those lines. And so, but what it really comes down to is that, you know what? You can take personal responsibility for your health, personal responsibility for your attitude and your actions, personal responsibility for lifting up and pouring into other people. We can all disagree on a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, you still have to act with the values that you and your family were brought up in. And that's, I told my daughter, told the guy to tell him to mind his own business. And my wife's like, that's not who we are. And I'm like, I'm right. But in the moment, I want to just I told her I'd go call him a sheep if he says that. And my wife's like, no, we don't say that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But I mean, we all get emotional during this time. So I'm just going to leave you guys with this. It's all about personal responsibility right now. What are you doing today? And what are you going to start doing today that's going to help you with your health and your life? Because the way that our bodies are built is the immune system gets stronger and stronger with the more things that we come and interact with. The last 25 years, the first 21 years of my life, I spent a lot of time taking antibiotics, taking medicines to cover up symptoms, and the antibiotics to help with colds and sicknesses and everything else. The problem is that as healthy as I looked, I was a scholarship rugby player. I was playing baseball for my college team. I was very fit. I looked fit on the outside, but I was sick on the inside because no matter how much I look good on the outside, my body on the inside was weakened because of all the chemicals that I had put into it and I was currently putting into it. And so it's not about looking good. It's more about being good. And I look at the last 25 years of my life. And when I got introduced to the principle of how God designed the body, how the body's able to heal itself, When I started applying these principles for the last 25 years, I've taken 0 medications or drugs into my body. And when I get a cold or sickness, my body has to go through and build up its strength every single time it goes through it. Instead of putting Purell on everything, instead of putting antibiotics in everything, instead of treating the symptoms, we want our bodies to actually go through strengthening. And that's what being personally responsible for your health is. Do the right things, allow your body to go through the sicknesses and diseases within reason, and then let your body become stronger and strengthen itself through those times. That's what this is really about. And that's the one thing you can add to this right now. The one thing you can control is you. You can't control what the media is saying. You can't control what I'm saying on Facebook, although Zuckerberg's trying to do that. You can't control those things, but you can control you. And that's the one thing you have to look at is what can you do for you today and your family? How do I get stronger? How do I get healthier? How do I get my mind right? How do I get my body moving? How do I take care of me? That's the challenge I have for you guys today. Have a blessed day, guys.